What is going on, YouTube? This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles, and yes, we are back with another video. This time, I have something really awesome to show you guys that I'm going to unbox for you. It is something that's massive that I've actually never seen in person before, but I kind of got, worked up when I was talking to my good buddy at Errol Molnar where we did our our live stream together talking about all these awesome things that he has. So actually, I took what he said and kind of went on eBay and see if this such a thing existed out there. And of course, lo and behold, I actually found it. I actually purchased it, and we'll get into that as this video goes along. But before I get started in the video, guys, I want to remind you that we are almost at 2,000 subscribers, and once we hit that 2,000 mark, we're going to be doing a massive giveaway. If you guys haven't heard, the AF-15 King himself at Errol Molnar has decided to take a book out of his personal collection and actually offer it up for this giveaway. And of course, I'm going to match him by grabbing something from my collection, and I'm going to be giving it off to one lucky subscriber out there. So with that said, if you guys are not subscribed to the channel and you like some of the content I've been putting out there, why don't you go and click that subscribe button for me. And of course, I want you to hit that notification bell because it'll let you guys know when I post a video. With that said, on Tuesdays and Thursdays is when I'm posting new content, so be on the lookout for that. So we're going to jump right in here with this massive thing that I actually picked up. Let me see if I can pick it up because it is really freaking heavy. I did not expect this thing to come in a giant box and to be such a big, large piece. I actually wasn't sure how they were going to send this thing. If it would just be in an envelope, if it would be like in something that would hold it or house it. And it looks like they have this thing in kind of like a portfolio. So with that said, this is not a comic book, obviously, guys. This is something that is a piece of history. This is something that is meaningful to a character that I follow in comics. And after talking to Errol, I decided to do my research, look out there and see if I could try to find this thing. And lo and behold, I found it on eBay. There were a couple of people who had it, and this was the cheapest price. And believe it or not, they had it listed for $500 on eBay, and I sent an offer for about half that, and they accepted and mailed it out to me. So I'm super excited to show you guys what I picked up. Like I said, it is a piece of actually comic history, just not comic book history, if that makes sense. So we're going to go ahead and open this thing, and then we'll get into it. So just bear with me as I kind of unbox this thing. The one thing I will say, guys, I am not sure what something like this is worth. But when you're acquiring something like this, you kind of don't tend to think about that. You kind of think about what it is and what it's worth to you. I don't think that this can have a price attached to it that you're going to find outside of somebody who's collected it and put their time and effort into it. And when I show you guys what it is, you'll understand what I mean. So they did pack it very well. There's notifications all over this box about what this is. So I'm just trying to be as careful as I can. Oh, man. This thing is crazy. Oh man, this is really heavy. I did not think this thing would be ridiculously heavy, but it is. So let me just read you a note that they included with this thing from eBay. Thank you for your purchase. I am a retired collector liquidating a personal collection of more than 7,000 Silver Age and Bronze Age superhero comic books assembled and cared for more than 6 decades. Continuity Enterprises is a limited liability company licensed in the state of Tennessee. I won't go on to read the rest of this, but regardless, this is signed by someone named Michael. Thank you very much, Michael, for selling this to me because, like I said, it is few and far between from where I saw this. And like I said, after talking with Errol, and like I said, guys, if you have not checked out that combo we had on the live stream, it was about a week and a half ago or last weekend, do me a favor, go check it out because we get into everything, and I've had nothing but positive feedback since we did that video. So do me a favor and go check it out. kind of have to be really careful here because I can almost see how they did this, and it's nothing but awesome. Holy crap. Whew. All right, I'm finally through a majority of the bubble wrap, so I'm trying not to give this thing away, but they really packed this sucker well. All right, guys, so this is it. These are the original newspaper strips for The Amazing Spider-Man from January 3rd, 1977 to January 1st, 1978. Everything is included in here from what I was told. Every strip that had ever come out for Spider-Man in the newspaper is here. And it looks like what they did is they took it and combined it into an amazing, portfolio of everything here. We're going to go ahead and jump right in and take a look inside. I haven't opened it yet. We're going to do this together and see what these actually look like. Wow. So it's got a date on it, January 9th, 1977. Cleveland. The Sunday Plain Dealer. Spider-Man starts today. This took time, guys, by a specific collector to kind of go through and cut these out and put these actually in a portfolio. This is quite amazing for somebody to take their sweet time. They must have loved the character, loved doing what they're doing here. They knew something was special about the Spider-Man character. Oh, wow. Here you go. This is the one I saw online that I thought was most amazing because it was in color. Absolutely beautiful. So again, Spider-Man, I believe, came out in AF-15 was in 1962. So we're talking almost 15 years later. Aunt May. Mary Jane. Everybody's here. Wow. So like I said, guys, this is a piece of history. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll over here as the story still continues. But like I was saying, they must have really loved the character of Spider-Man. They must have known how popular this character was going to become. As you can see, Doctor Doom is in here. Some of the amazing characters that we've come to know through the comics, through whatever Spidey senses. Was in the newspaper in the 70s. So I wish every piece was dated, but of course this is not how they printed stuff in the newspaper. I have to go through and read actually each of these, columns and see how the storyline continued. If it went from these big pieces that are color pieces, if each one was each week and they continue the story, but I'm not sure. This is my first time ever experiencing these stuff, guys, through my eyes. I was just born in 1977, so as you can see, we're going to go through every page together and kind of take a look at this. Or this could be the actual continuation from each week. Maybe it starts out in color and then goes over to the, black and white. But like I said, the time, the dedication it took for this collector to do this, to cut this out each week. I'm not actually familiar how often these strips would come out. If it was once a week, if it was bi-weekly, I have no idea. That's something I'm going to have to look up. Really amazing. Amazing stuff. So first things first, I want to thank Errol for mentioning this to me, because I actually went online after we spoke of it and kind of see what something like that was number one, if it was even around, if it's something I could purchase and how much that would be going for, right? Because in my opinion, something like this there's no monetary value that could possibly be attached. Finding this stuff, like this is, like I said, this is history. It's not something that, I'm going to say, wow, someone really did this, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to give you $500 for it. It's someone took the time of their life to go ahead and cut out every Spider-Man clip that was ever taken and put in a newspaper. So these comic strips are kind of like, I don't want to say they're one of a kind because other people out there have them. They took their time and did it, but we're talking about not like a book. This is actually a newspaper that got tossed around every day. That got thrown out every day. I understand some comics were like that as well. But with that said, these people actually had to go through and cut these panels out. Actually surprised they used a Doctor Doom story for this stuff, but I guess probably he's probably very popular back in the day. So now we're going to get into Sunday, February 27th, 1977. You can tell it's a little bit different. The art is a little bit different. Or the layout, I should say, not really the art. So if anybody knows out there how often these are published, it looks like these might be, you know, weekly, but I could be wrong. I don't think they're dailies because I think that's a lot of work to be published today. So here you go. Now we're going to go into March 6, 1977. So just about a year this went on in the newspaper. Doc Ock now in color. Wow, look at that, guys. Unbelievable. Classic Doc Ock in a newspaper. Amazing. I don't know about you guys. That kind of don't look like Alfred Molina, but regardless, I think they did an amazing job with that casting. Again, I used to love how they did Spider-Man's, you know, spider sense back then with the half face, whatever. It's really an amazing way to show what he was feeling. Wow, look at this. Look at this. That is absolutely beautiful. Look at the colors on this, guys. Striking. A clean piece of history. I know I keep repeating myself when I say this stuff, but like I said, you don't come across this very, very often. And like I said, these are published throughout the year, over 1 year. And these were kept in immaculate condition. Most newspapers from around that era, they get, you know, very, very foxed, very brown looking. These were actually kept really, really beautiful for the past, I don't know, what is it, 43 years. They look great. They look better than most comics do around this age. So whoever did this, you know, kudos to you, because it is absolutely beautiful. You can just see some of the ink there that kind of runneth over from the newspaper. And I wonder if that had anything to do with printing that big black panel there that kind of turned the yellow green. Unbelievable, guys. Anybody out there who's a big Spider-Man fan like me, like this is like just like candy, giving candy to a baby. What's the expression? Giving candy in a candy store? I forgot how it goes, but wow. Everybody recognizes that pose, right, guys? Shh, unbelievable. Sunday, April 3rd, 1977. So we still got another 7 months to go here. This is absolutely gorgeous. Doc Ock threatening Aunt May. Spider-Man 2, right? Wow. April 10th, 1977. So that kind of gives us a clue. Every week these came out, right? For the most part, I probably think. The Plain Dealer. This is the comic that this one was in. The comic section. April 17th. My favorite thing about this guy is the fact that it's Stan Lee and John Romita, right? John Romita did the artwork. Stan Lee, of course, did the story. I mean, imagine having this signed by Stan Lee. Amazing. So the lizard. Yes, it is. It's a very odd-looking lizard, I will say that. Doesn't really match the lizard from early ASM, but it's all right. I find it funny how some of these have been published in different newspapers, right? So not everything is from one paper. I wonder how they did that back in the day. How they decided where the comic strips would go. If it was multiple papers, I have no idea. Can't answer that one, guys. Something we're gonna have to do. So again, we have the plain dealer here. These things are really amazing. Again, a piece of history, June 19th, 1977. So we're still only like literally halfway through this book. And I'm going quickly because I don't want this video to turn into like a 40-minute thing. But what I loved is we've already seen Doctor Doom. We've seen Doc Ock. We're now seeing the Lizard. So who's next? Are we going to get some Green Goblin in here? I don't know. But either way, this is some amazing stuff. I don't know if anybody could agree with me here, but I used to love the way they drew Spider-Man in the early 70s and late 70s. How about that Kingpin? That is classic Kingpin right here. So there we go, another big villain in the comic strip. Of course, we got J. Jonah, looking like classic J. Jonah. Mary Jane, looking like classic Mary Jane. We're gonna have to do a poll. I think I'm gonna have to do a YouTube poll on who likes who better. Mary Jane, Gwen Stacy. I'm gonna throw Black Cat in there. Anyone else you guys can think of? Who would you like Spider-Man to end up with? Me? You know, I'm a Mary Jane guy, but I'd really love to see him get together with Felicia Hardy. Is that my Vanessa right there? Could be, right? I gotta get and actually read the story, but that could be her. Absolutely amazing, guys. I wish you really need to see this in person, because it's like, for comic collectors out there, we go through and we try to collect books, but most of the time we don't actually go through and pick up, you know, a Silver Age key, like a major key, like a first appearance of a Doc Ock or even an AF-15 or something like that, and actually go through and feel the pages and look at the pages. Like, most of our stuff is graded right now, I think, for the most part, so most people don't actually get to actually look inside and see what this was and how they did these panels. I mean, these panels are perfect, right? Every panel is meticulously drawn to be classic comic book style back in the 70s. With as great as the artwork is for now on modern books these days, to me it doesn't compare to the nostalgia, to the classic feeling that we see from these old Silver Age and Bronze Age stuff. Like, the way they did these characters back then are absolutely amazing. The way they did this stuff, you don't see an immense amount of shading. You don't see all the stuff. You see the character, and then you see like the fill in for the rest of the background. And the way they did highlights and stuff, we can see with Mary Jane's hair. It's still done the same way, but the way they get into it now is so in depth, where you kind of miss some of these cartoonish feeling of the panels. And that's what got me into comics, was the cartoonish feeling of it, right? I don't want to see ultra realism when it comes to this stuff. Don't get me wrong. It's amazing to look out from an art perspective, but from a comic perspective, I love this. You can't get better than this. These strips, these classic panels, like, it's unbelievable. Look at that Kingpin. There you go. I don't know why Kingpin's purple here, but as you can see, another printing defect because it's a newspaper. I know Stan had mentioned back in the 60s when they did the Incredible Hulk #1, that part of the reason why they had to change him over to green was because they had a problem printing the ink with gray. They get different shades every time. So not sure if that's a newspaper issue, if that's a printing issue, in other words, but it's also 15 years later, so who knows. But this is absolutely amazing stuff, guys. So now we're in September 1977, still a Kingpin. I'm guessing this is Vanessa, right? This has to be. I love how they use the important villains in here. You want some of the mainstays to go along when you're doing a comic strip, right? Those are the most comics I look forward to when I was growing up. The main villains, I never wanted to see some of these minor villains. A lot of them really wasn't what I was interested in. I wanted to see Doc Ock. I wanted to see Doctor Doom. I wanted to see the Kingpin. You know, the Green Goblin, of course. And that's what this thing gave us. I mean, to me, just the fact that someone did this, right? They took their time. They cut everything out. They placed it in a binder. It was important to them. This was important to them. Having, you know, done this for all these years, this was important to them. And we're nearing the end of this book, guys. But what a piece of history. Someone knew down the road that this is going to be valuable. This is going to be important. So if anybody knows any more history about these comic strips from the 70s, please drop some comments down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you know, because I'd love to hear some more information. I know I got all my information from Errol, from what he knew about it, but he made the comment that when you see something this important, you pick it up. You kind of don't worry about the money, and I know that's easy to say sometimes, but this is cheap enough. I think he mentioned to me that he got it for like $50, which is insane. But imagine picking something like this up for $50. That's insane. Like, this thing should be in the Smithsonian. I know it's not the first appearance of Spider-Man, and it came 15 years later. Look, now we have Kraven the Hunter, right? So another big character in there, Kraven the Hunter. You could see Kraven the Hunter in the newspaper, Daily Bugle. So I'm glad in the 70s they used these the big villains. They didn't wait. They didn't use some of, like, you'll see that sometimes in comic strips, especially in the newspaper, the way they don't use the main villains. I'm stoked that they used the proper villains. And you can see, I don't know why they started in color, then went over to black and white. I would love to see every panel in color. How amazing would that be? Whew, it would be ridiculous, right? So you can see some of the printing defects here. Big pink bubbles. We're almost at the end. Oh, went over one page. Around Christmas time. Merry Christmas. I had to go through it and read this thing and find out what the exact storyline is, but that's it. This is the last panel. So I'm going to end, and I'm going to show you guys what this thing looks like. Let me see if I can just flip it over this way before I knock anything else over today. Look at that. That is somebody who really gives a crap about this character. For them to do that, for them to put this in here, it's just amazing. So I'm going to jump right off and get right back on. So what an amazing piece of historic artwork, guys. The time, like I said before, like the time it took for somebody to actually cut these out of each newspaper every week or whenever they were published and actually make a scrapbook of these things, that took time, that took effort, that took the love of the character to go ahead and do this. And the fact that they, put it in such a nice binder, labeled it, did whatever, this was really important to them. I am super happy to finally have this in my collection. It's something I was actually never looking for until I talked to Errol. Something that I never thought I'd really want. But like he said, it's history. It's a part of Spider-Man history. And of course, the fact that I love this character and the fact that the character means so much to me, having this means more to me than probably most of the expensive books that I have, because like I said, this is someone else's history, not just mine. Spider-Man's the person who put this together, and now it's part of my history. So to me, having this is really, really special. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing this, because this is not something you're going to see all the time. There might be other pieces out there, but I don't think you're going to see something that's combined and put into a nice, binder and taken care of and then clipped out and done whatever, put in chronological order. I don't know if you're going to find something like this out there again, but like I said, the person who did this really loved the character, and they took their time and wanted to see it go to the right place. I can't believe they sold it to me for how much that they sold it to me for, but regardless, I am stoked to have this in a collection. So drop me down in the comments, guys. Let me know what you think of this thing. Like I said, it's something I've never seen before, so I'm happy to add it. But any information you give me outside of the information I provided you would be really, really helpful. So drop me comments down below. And of course, a reminder about the 2,000 sub contest. It'll be coming soon as we hit that 2,000. So like always, this is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles saying thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.